Welcome to episode 7 of Luksur. Together we are
Luksurfellen.
Luksurfellen. I'm sorry about that. Luksurfellen episode 7. We're doing this in international language called English with a beautiful Italian guy called Rodolfo. Sometimes when I need your whole name, I think of a watch brand called BIANCHET.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that in a few seconds. Together with Junge and Co again, as the last episode, a few minutes, we recorded that a few minutes ago. And the watch fair called Luksur Exhibit, together with Junge and Co, is going. So we will hear some voices in the back, and that's totally fine.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. So...
and just to say, we are at Fornebu Hovedgård.
We
outside of Oslo.
Yeah, it's a beautiful...
For the international audience.
That means Fornebu, main farm in English. It's an old traditional building which is kind of protected. You can't do anything inside without applying.
Yeah.
So it's a majestic building with like the sea view and the entrance with the allée.
Yeah,
it's just beautiful out here.
It's one of the most, I would say, one of the most beautiful estates around Oslo.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a beautiful.
It really is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, just a little history lesson. The building dates back. Well, the farm dates back to the Middle Ages, together with the monastery here, and then it came into royal ownership mid 1500s, and then it was. Also the Danish king, because we were a union with Norway and Denmark for a long time. And then the Danish king, he actually sold it to a Swiss guy. Yes, and you know what he wanted to do here?
No.
He wanted to develop some new techniques in agriculture. So he chose Norway. That's quite funny. Which has probably the worst climate for doing agriculture in the world, except for like in Siberia, you know.
Could be.
So actually, he tried for 6 years and then he sold it and moved back to Switzerland. So yeah.
And here we are now. It's an amazing place.
Yeah.
The view is amazing, and it's really nice here.
Yeah. My team at Luksur, which is a Facebook group also, is delighted that you came. And we, of course, love your brand and the story behind it, which we are going into now. So I just want to say humbly, thank you for doing this with us.
Thanks for having us, It's a pleasure, being here in Norway. It's the second time we're coming. It's a fantastic place. The country, I like it. And, thanks for the opportunity to show our brands. And to talk about it.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Tell us about your story.
Right, it's a simple story. I was a fintech entrepreneur. I sold my company in 2017. I had the classic 2 years contract, before you can get out. So I was thinking what I do next, and without too many thought, as my passion was always watches. And actually, my first job was to be a salesman of a watch company of a friend, which actually became very big in Italy. It's called Lockman.
Okay.
I say let's do a watch company, and sometimes I have this idea and then I follow them like a sleepwalker, and then I don't know, you just go for it. And I have a luxury or lux to have a wife which is always supporting me, in all my business endeavor. And closer to the mic.
But you can bring the mic back to you also.
That's much better.
Yes.
So I don't have to lean forward. And so in 2017 we had the idea. I've always been a lover of watches, especially to know forms, to know shapes, because I had some Cartier Tour 2, which was my best watch ever. And we just designed it. We had the lucky to find a very nice designer, which was called Sébastien Perret, which now is the creative director of Audemars Piguet. which designed our case. Yeah, the case is the last design actually he did before Audemars bought the studio and take it off the market, because all the Audemars, he was doing, they were better than internal team. So the CEO came and said, we have a problem, everything you do.
I didn't know that actually. It's,
It's the case. He had this idea to make this color line in the case, especially in the Tourneau. We went with the gold ratio idea. I'm going a little bit ahead of myself, and yes, we industrialized. Actually, that's the last design he did. So that was good because the design was top quality. And what happened, we were able to do the first 2 prototypes and going to Basel 2019, which unfortunately for us was the last one. And actually in this 2019 there were the accelerator part. I mean, young brand, and there were quite a lot of young brand which in there became quite successful. One is Trilob, the other is Singer. So they were good brands. So anyway, after the first prototype, COVID strike, and so we had 2 years of like no selling pressure, at least for us. And I wanted to understand better how the industry works. So we bought some CNC machine.
Yeah.
We went into the Jura in a place called a little village called Montfaucon. And we did actually a lot of prototyping. We changed the design. I actually understand how you actually build the watch from the mechanism to the case, with this machine and everything. And that was really good because in the second phase, when we went to order the watch, we would know what we were talking about. And we represent the new model, which is this one, the 1618 open work, which we are very proud of. At 2021 Geneva Watch Days, and in 2023, 2 weeks ago, we present the second model of the brand.
Yeah.
Which
and
is...
And the first model was a huge success.
Yes, the first model we did in 2021, 2 limited series of 10, which went really fast, and then we did the 6 of 21. From our side, it's sold out. There are some little pieces. This is, I think, the last one available in the world.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it went really well, but there are reasons for this, and maybe we can...
let's talk more about the reason.
Well, first of all, there are 3 main concepts in Bianchet. So we use a Tourneau shape case. Tourneau, a little bit history on Tourneau. I think it's interesting to delve into it. Was invented by Cartier in 906. Actually, the Citrix one, which is a meter elongated, and this form, it's the Tortue. It was in 1912. And during the Art Deco in the 30s, the Tourneau was very, very popular. So everybody was doing Tourneau. Rolex, Girard Perregaux, Audemars, everybody. And actually, the only movement name in the name of Hans Winthrop, which is the Rolex, founder, it's called Hans Winthrop 360 is a Tourneau with the 3 wheels, which we have actually in the new model, because I thought it was really nice that a Tourneau space, a Tourneau movement was with this. And then he went a little bit in oblivion, came back in the 90s with Frank Muller, and then we had Richard Mille, which put a lot of technicality and became a sort of the shape of the super rich. That's the reality of it. And we came with the idea to have a new shape done with pure lines, sensual curves, and a refined sense of color, which is a little bit the Italian style. And also, in order to achieve beauty, because for us, I always say that for Bianchet, a watch must be beautiful above all. So we have, every decision we take, it's regarded that the watch is beautiful. Clearly, it's also functional. But if I have to compromise between function and form, I would choose always form.
Form,
yeah. And so we use the golden ratio, which is this, mystic or phi number 1618 to create our skeleton movement and to actually also design the case. Well, it's a it's a very it's a very beautiful. It's a ratio. It's a very beautiful number. It's called the irrational number. I mean, the most irrational number in the world, and it comes from a series which is called the Fibonacci series, which is adding two numbers to reach the third. So basically, if you add 1 plus 2, you make 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 8, 13, 55. And at one point, when you divide one by the other, you get 1618, which is every ad infinitum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the 1618, to make a really long story short, if you have it's thought to design the perfect rectangle. So if you have a window which is the side is 5, you multiply the 5 by 1618, it makes 8.9 the other side. So a window or a rectangle which is 5 by 8.9, it looks pleasing to the eyes. If you have a window which is 5 by 11, it's less harmonious. So for example, there are architects that say table, windows, everything in the golden ratio. So for example, Le Corbusier was using the golden ratio.
Yeah.
Before in my previous life, I was doing fintech, so trading online platform, and I was also an analyst. So I developed some financial indicator based on the golden ratio. So I studied, and it was working also in the financial sector. So I studied, and I found this formula actually was used by all the Italian painters, from Leonardo, from Botticelli, to have the perfect proportion. So when we went into watches, it would be very interesting to use this formula into a super modern watch and design the skeleton, which I love, based on this geometrical relationship, which from the rectangle you can go into a spiral, you can go into circles. And the amazing things about the ratio is that actually it's a build-up. It's called a fractal, but you find it in the universe. You find it in the construction of the Nautilus, you find it in the galaxy, you find it in the sunflower. So it's built in some forms. And for us, it's very precise geometrical reshaping when you do things using the golden ratio. This aesthetics has more probability to be timeless because it's been used by the painter to the Parthenon. And in fact, we in the watch, we have the spirals, we have the circles, and at the end, even if there are many parts that looks there are many things in this watch. At the end, it looks proportionate, harmonious, beautiful. That's what we want to achieve.
You take some elements of the golden ratios, like some of it is inside, so you have to kind of picture that it's also going a little bit outside when it comes to the bows and arrows inside.
Yeah, because you have the same. But at the end of the day, this is like the technique we use. What we want to achieve is somebody when get our watch. We want this reaction which you always have, which is, wow, these are beautiful watches.
Yeah.
And this is actually our goal, to leave something that stays for generation because they are built to last, and that looks beautiful. So it's a mix of we call it the perfect proportion because we're using the golden ratio, and Italian style because we have these pure lines in a tonneau case and
everything Italian is beautiful.
Yeah.
From the food to the wines to the people.
And the cars.
The
cars.
Especially because Maserati, I think they use this ratio a lot in their design.
The last Gran Turismo is actually designed on the golden ratio, so why it looks, and actually it's a similar concept. The car looks very sinuous, classy, but at the same time it's super modern because it looks really like a sport car. And actually in the 60s, Pininfarina was the one which came out with this Italian design of sensual curves, pure lines that we have in the watch.
Yeah.
And another things which it's really important to Bianchet is these two rubber lines that you have in the watch. So this was an idea of Sebastian, as I was telling, and it made us build a watch that is different from any other because we had to create a middle case which extend because we have to put the joints in, and you can see that very well in the hybrid that the carbon part goes to the lugs.
Yeah.
And at the end, you have a watch which is clearly we use high-tech material, super modern, but there's some timeless design into it. So we meet something that it's as an ultra-modern spirit into something that it's really old, 1,000 years old aesthetics design principle, and this create a tension between the two that we hope the result creates beauty.
Yeah.
So these are let's say, the philosophical principle beyond the watch. Then, if you want, we can dwell into the technicality of the watch, which is quite interesting. But
what I remember you told a friend that I just bought the machine. What do you call the machine?
Well, it's a CNC machine. Actually, I was with Xavier or Chapex, and we met, and he was very helpful to us. And he said, "You bought a machine."
Yeah.
It's like you're crazy.
But what was the first kind of parts that you started to play with, and what material?
Well, we immediately went to titanium. That's the first, and we start to do the cases.
Yeah.
And we start to understand how actually a case of the watch is done. And then we went into materials, into the movement. Movement are very difficult to be done. We discovered the micron, this little beast, that if you have a 5 micron out, the jewel does come in and the watch doesn't work.
So it's not in centimeters or
no, it's
feet.
It's in micron, yeah.
It's in micron, yeah.
And but that was very interesting because I actually moved the machine myself. I changed it. The first prototype, I clearly with the help of a professional, but I loaded the machine. I really wanted to understand how the whole things worked. And there is a beauty into it. I mean, this micromechanics, it's amazing the skill they have in Switzerland. You have this scenario when you have basically cow and the super high-tech, cutting-edge micromechanics, farms, which it's a tradition, but they're very, very skilled.
But when you have a dream, you had an interest in watches, of course, and because I'm kind of like Robin. When I become a big boy, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, and it's when you can say things like you said to me when I sold my first company and things like that. It's so cool when you just I'm gonna do this now. Did you have any people around you like don't do it? No, don't. Any doubters?
No, but yes, this is. It's like 100%. I mean, there is a saying, especially when I meet the people of the industry. The first thing they say, there is a saying that if you are a billionaire and you want to become a millionaire, you start a watch company. So I found it really funny. Yeah. Also, what they told me is, you shouldn't do your own things. You shouldn't do your own movement. There are professionals to do that. So you should take care of the marketing and the sales, and don't care about doing things. And I did exactly completely the
unafraid.
Well, no, I wouldn't say you're not afraid, because as an entrepreneur you always have doubts. I mean, but because I saw that if you persist and you have your idea and you're clear with your idea and you know what you want to do. Clearly, the devil is in the detail. But if you persist, that's the most important things in business. You also have to have an idea, because
it's important to have an idea. But it's you're not going to start with round watches, which is what do you call it? It's like kind of a main ingredients in watches. You have the round dial and everything. So what made you choose this form?
Well, first of all, I think the to-know form, it's really elegant. Yeah, that's something to know which is elegant. And second, when I was young, when you are young, you have a lot of ego, and so somehow you want to differentiate yourself from the other, especially if you
Yeah.
So having to know watches like everybody is round, and I have to know, so I'm different. So something like that. Even as a trader, I was a sort of a contrarian type of way. And second, the shape has something really, really nice into it. And second is come with built-in ergonomics. So because it's curved, it fits better on the wrist. And I think this is really important when you put it on the wrist.
Yeah.
And but then when you like something, it's you might have reason, but there's something that you like. I mean, it's just you like. It's like you see a woman and you say, I like this. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, because she's blonde. She has it's 178, and you just the first impression is that you like, and that's what I like. And the second things I dream to have, which is an important thing, is also Bianchet to have a when I grew up, is to have a tourbillon, because the tourbillon are the most mesmerizing and beautiful movement in the world. The fact that this cage goes 360 degrees and it moves, tack, 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 it's super beautiful. Actually, it's sort of a meditation, because when you look at the cage of tourbillon, you just don't think, you just look at it.
Yeah.
So it's like having a heart on the, a piece of art on the wrist. And so the three things came together, and also I have to say, this friend of mine, which started a watch company when he was 19, became very successful, also made a big impression on me.
Yeah. It's you and Xavier are sparring a lot. You're friends. You become friends.
Yeah.
You start I mean, starting off from, you're not a watchmaker.
No.
And you don't have a father who's a watchmaker.
No.
So it's there's a word for this. It's like kudos to you for jumping into this, because you could have made cheap watches,
Yes,
bigger numbers, but this is not. This is What do you call Høytehorologi in Sunnmørsk?
And it's a family business.
It's a family business.
Yes. Yeah. Well, look. The fact is that I really wanted to do this, so there is a drive to leave something beautiful behind, because when you do financial software, especially for broker, you don't leave anything behind. You leave people that lose money, and you gave money, and I never enter. So there is a drive. There is something inside that even when we were in the Jura with these things that were falling down and everything, I said, what the fuck I was thinking, But then
I can say a little thing about our first encounter, which was basically at Watches and Wonders last year, 2022. Yes. And I saw the watches, I think, in February 22 on the web page. And we were like, okay, we have an opportunity to have a meeting and consider these watches for selling them to the Nordic market. And I was like, when I opened your website and saw especially the titanium, full titanium with the red, I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is the most insane watch I've seen ever. So I was like, we are having this meeting, So, and then here we are today.
No, it's great, to have you here as a retailer, because you're gonna, bring the Bianchet. You're bringing Bianchet to the market, and more and more people, will know the brand. Technically, this is the first watch is amazing. It's based really on the gold duration. The second one has a grand date, which is a complication, and a flying tourbillon, because we want to have the tourbillon really, really in front. Also, we have done the watch with it's an in-house movement, so we have constructor, and then we work with 15-20 partner. We fully disclose it, and then assembly the watch in our new atelier in La Chaux-de-Fonds with our watchmaker. So it's technically it's the main plate and bridges are in titanium, It's 100-meter water resistant because I love the sea, and I wanted to have a watch that you can use. And it's a -4 +4 precision, so it meets the standard of a chronometer, which is not so, I would say, easy for a tourbillon. Not so many super precise tourbillon. And it's 95 power reserve, so it's more than 4 days, and also 5,000 G shock resistance. So it's a tool watch, but on the same time it's really very high hand finishing. The watch also comes with 2 stripes, so you have the color one if you're like more outspoken. Also depends on the occasion, sometimes you want to be more colored, or like me, I prefer the black stripe, a little bit more low profile. But it's a beautiful, I hope, in Italy we say ogni scarrafone è bello mamma sua, meaning every cockroaches is, it's super nice for the mama. But we are very proud of the watches we have done up to now, and the brand is well established to continue, which is not so.
But you see the watch from any angle, and you can kind of recognize your brand, and that's really important when it comes to like building a brand. You notice what brand it is, not only through seeing the name on the watch, but it's like the stripes, the rubber. It's really recognizable, and you're keeping like true to some forms, and yeah.
Well, in reality, there are some, even if it's subtle, and you need to go into the watch. Don't stay on the general form okay, it's a to know. There are some first in the world. So first is the first time you have a rubber joints, 2 rubber joints to a case outside. So this is very difficult to achieve because the rubber is a soft material. So in order to have this kind of precision, the machine are really needs to be really super high hands, and that's the first. The second, the material we use titanium. It's called titanium dust carbon. So we put powder of titanium, and we were the first in the world to do it. In this second version is high density, so it's 500 layers, and we put every 2 layers. And even though you don't change the structure of the material, which becomes really strong and light, it has a shimmering and a luxury effect which no carbon has. I saw now that other brands are coming into the market with this idea. I won't say say we are the first, but we were the first. And then we are the first in the world to actually do a skeleton movement based on the golden ratio.
Yeah.
The golden ratio has been used in watchmaking before. For example, there is the ellipse of Patek Philippe. There is Parmigiani, which was using the golden ratio. The Languesson one, the dial is based absolutely on the golden ratio. So even it's asymmetrical. You see the Languesson, say, wow, there's something really nice into this watch. But it's the first time which a skeleton is built on precise geometrical relationship. Now maybe in the postcard you will see it. I can show it.
Yeah. Because there are also many watches calling some of the watches they make, they call them skeleton, but it's not really skeleton watch. This is a proper skeleton watch.
Well, the skeleton, it's actually something that started in 18-something. It was Armstrong, one of the first watchmakers to do it, so to open skeleton. So basically you have a movement and you remove.
Yeah.
What we do is completely different. We design the geometrical form, and then we built. We built the skeleton based on our geometrical forms. So as you can see here, you will see we are using the geometrical relationship of the golden ratio. So here, for example, we are putting the cage tourbillon and the grand date.
Bring it closer. Okay.
So here we are using what is called the golden triangle, because this side is 1/6/1/8 of the other, and you can see the grand date and the and the cage of tourbillon are really precise at the conversion of the two apex. Here we have a bridge which is actually designed using the Fibonacci spiral, which is drawn using the Fibonacci sequence of rectangles. And here you have all the position of the cage, of the hourly, on the date based on the Fibonacci circles, which also we have clearly on the back. So the skeleton, as you can see, these are all Fibonacci circles, meaning every circle is 1/6, 1/8 of the other. And this is one block of titanium that, it's then carved to have something that is look like this. Yep. So at the end, it's like you have a sculpture, and actually you have also then you have to put the wheel that everything works. So it's not evident that. So it's another way to. So what we do is like we create the skeleton ex ante before, and then ex post you have the results. And so these three things. This is the unique material that we use. It's the first time that rubber lines are used, especially this is the bezel, it's in the golden ratio of the middle case.
Yeah.
And this is not in the same indirect relationship, it's more complex relationship because we had to add 1 millimeter, but in the first one, that's exactly in the golden ratio. So all this makes the case super proportionate. Super nice. It's like you look at it and say, "Wow, there's something in this case." But that's a little bit the magic. So mainly, what we have a timeless design principle. We have a super modern spirit and materials. But everything we do it with the idea to leave something for the people,
Yeah. For generations.
Yeah. So. For example, we give 5 years of guarantee, but these watches are built to last for ages.
Yeah,
they're really strong, and that was a little bit the dream. So when you have a dream, I think it's important that you want to you have something in your heart. Because, for example, when I was doing finance, I was doing forex trading platform. I was the first to actually launch a forex trading platform in the world, but I never became a broker because the business of a broker is it's like a casino. You have you lose and I gain, and also I have to tell you bullshit. Come, work with me and you're gonna make money. So it's fine. I mean, as long as somebody takes 2,000, lose 2,000 euro, which is actually the average loss of somebody which plays forex. But then you have people which gets addicted and maybe they lose 100, 150, they lose everything. So then what you do? And they say, hey, please, give me back. So I never entered into I only did the technology.
Yeah.
But then I sold it because I say, what? This stupid business.
So when someone says it's up 61.8%, then you say sell.
No, it's different. Actually, how it works like this. When you have a trend, it's amazing, actually. It's amazing. I was amazed. Yeah. And you have from, let's say, the stocks comes from 100 to 160, okay? And then you start a retracement. So the stocks start to go down 150. The point is this a change of trend or this is a correction of the trend? Meaning it goes to 130, then it goes to 100 or it goes to 20? That's the main, Yeah. And the amazing thing is if you take this segment, for example, 160, you divide by 0.618, which is the revert of 1.618, then there is the maximum point retracement could arrive. But the amazing thing is that most of the time, the price stop at 0.618 of the 460, which is totally amazing. And if you multiply this for 1.618, you have the target. And sometimes the price stop exactly at the 1.618 target. So I say, what the fuck? This is incredible.
So, golden ratio, divine ratio.
In the financial, it's called Fibonacci retracement, Fibonacci target. In technical analysis, if somebody is listening that knows the technical analysis, knows exactly what I'm talking about.
They are going to get rich now.
Yeah, this I don't know. There is much to do. But I developed the indicator based on the golden ratio, which were a little bit more complicated. Actually, they are very... So at the end, you have this ratio which you find in the mass psychology in the universe, and so it's a really mysterious number. Actually, it's called the irrational numbers. That's why I thought it was very interesting.
I would like to ask you a little thing about development so far, the interest and the success you're having now. Just tell a little bit about this.
Well, the things have been quite amazing because, as I said, the first model went really well, and also it went all over the world. I mean, we sell from America to Mexico to Korea to Ukraine, Australia, Japan, which is something really struck me because I remember, you say you never come to the, you're not coming to the watch business. So I was obsessed, I read everything, and one of the personality that really I like it the most is Jean-Claude Biver. I think it's amazing guy, flamboyant, and at the same time really humble. Speaks direct. And when he did I remember I read this interview. I listened to the interview. Said, one thing that you discover that the watch is really nice and successful. It will work all over the world, and that's exactly what happened to us. That people. It's normal. At the beginning, they say, "Oh, it's a Tuno. It looks like other brands." But then when they go into it and they see what it is, and they see there is an honest and there is something into the watch we are putting, everybody goes and say, "Wow, this is really nice."
When you started, social media was already a thing. How has that helped you? Did you go into social media, or did your customers do most of the
No,
work?
we were quite expert in social media because in Forex it's very big, all the targeting to get leads.
Yeah.
On the other hand, these are quite expensive watches, but it was very helpful. A lot of people contact us through Instagram. We do a lot of promotion on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a good way for the new brands to make known.
Yeah.
So it's super nice. Yeah.
Because they are beautiful, and you are also quite beautiful. I thank you again for.
And your wife is very beautiful as well.
No, I think
It's important to mention Emmanuelle.
Yeah. Apart that the real beautiful in the family is not me, but my wife, which is. But actually, it's not super important. It's really not the 50%. It's the 80% of the company, because she has an innate sense of class. She has an innate class, and she's the woman of details. I mean, apart that she does all the color are done by the collection are done by her, but she's a painter, a musician, but at the same time she has a mind of an engineer. So every single detail doesn't go. I don't see things. I say, "Did you see this? What you talking about?"
That's typical of men.
Yeah. You say, "But this doesn't work. This is not done well. This part. What? Which part? Which part?"
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we have a lot of model coming out in 2024, 2025.
Yeah.
So we are here to stay. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
We're wrapping up.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. To give us the possibility to express ourselves.
You're welcome. I wanted to give you a chance to.
Okay. Great.
Humbly, gratefully, thank you so much for doing an episode with us. We'll share it with you when it's ready in about a week, I think. And Robin, that's it.
I just want to end thanking Robin, for having believed in us at the beginning. Was the first one to see it, to show the watch here in Norway, and it's great. Great surrounding, great place, so we're so happy.
You've chosen the right partner, because he's really driven. He's
passionate, yes.
He's passionate, really. So.
And just to say at the end, we have some of your pieces for us that we can sell here in Norway and the Nordics. Well, around the world, for that matter. So we're going to work together for sure.
Yes, I think I would end saying, come and see the pieces, because that's really counts. I mean, when you have it on your wrist and you look it with the loop, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Grazie.
Grazie.
Denne podcasten laget I samarbeid med Investornytt, den komplette nettavisen for alle typer investorer.